Hey mum, and hey to anyone else practicing with me today. I'm Hannah and this is Felix, and today it's going to be episode 9 in the Real Yoga for My Mum beginner series, and we'll work into moving into a forward fold, a seated forward fold, which a lot of people I notice don't want to start yoga because they're like, oh, I'm not flexible, I can't touch my toes. It doesn't matter, it's really not a big deal. So we'll work on maybe touching your toes in a different sort of way that's not going to hurt your lower back or anything nasty like that. So when you're ready, grab your stretchy pants and I'll meet you on the mat. Okay, so now that I'm covered in fur, let's all start on our backs. So come down to the mat. Bring the knees in, just gently drawing the knees into the chest. And here you can start to take any movement that feels good, maybe rolling the hips side to side a little bit or making circles with the knees. Just find that little lower back massage. Give the lower back a little extra special love before we start. And then when you're ready, hug the right knee in, send the left leg out long along the mat. Beautiful. And if already this is too much on the hips, you can plant the left foot down on the floor and the knee can be bent. So you choose. Hug that right knee in, really give it a nice squeeze. And we'll start in a half happy baby pose. So bring the left hand to the left hip as a reminder to keep that hip on the mat. And then the right fingers either reach for the outside edge of the right foot or the inner arch. And it doesn't really matter, it's just yogi's choice. Then send that foot up to the sky. Everything is covered in Felix fur. All right, so we want to flex the right toes really strongly. So they point almost down towards the earth. Bend the knee and then squeeze that knee in towards the armpit. So you'll start to feel a big stretch across the hamstrings already here and a bit of a hip opening action as well. So just start to come into your breath, taking deep breaths, which will help you to maybe relax into this pose a little more. And if there's no way that you're going to reach your foot here, just grab the outside edge of your leg, or you can just do one of these, hug it in. So just find what's working in your body today. Beautiful. And then gently bending the knee, releasing the grip of the hand. Squeeze that knee in just one more time. And then bring the other knee in to join it. Ear. Neutralize. And then take the left knee into the chest, right leg either goes long along the mat or you bring the foot flat on the earth, whichever feels better. Great, relax the shoulders, draw the left knee in towards the chest now, and then take the left hand either to the outside edge, the inner arch, or wherever you can grab onto your leg. Send the foot up to the sky, right hand comes to the right hip, just as a reminder to keep this whole right side of us grounded down. Breathe in here. And as you exhale, draw the knee down towards the armpit, flex the toes down towards the earth, and the heel of the foot goes up towards the sky. Half happy baby pose. And again, you should really be feeling this stretch already in the hamstring. And when we do a forward fold, this is essentially what we're stretching, is our legs, our hamstring muscles. And like I said, for some reason, if we see straight legs, we really feel like we need to plant our face towards them. And this is certainly not necessary. But we'll work towards maybe getting there one day. All right, one more big breath in. And then gently draw the foot towards you, release, hug the knee in, hug both knees in now. Take the hands behind the kneecaps and we'll start to roll up and down along the mat just a couple of times. And once you've satisfied with your rolling, come all the way forward and through. We'll come onto all fours. Sorry, the first situation is real. Okay, we'll do a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So bring the wrists underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips, tops of the feet press into the mat here. So when you're ready, inhale, drop the belly, squeeze the shoulder blades together, butt lifts up, chin lifts up. Nice. And then exhale, opposite motion. Press into the hands, squeeze the belly button towards the spine, chin tucks towards the chest. Inhale, come forward and through. And exhale, opposite direction. Inhaling. Drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the butt. And exhale, press away from your mat. Press the shoulder blades away from one another. Let's do one more round. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Let's inhale to come back to center. We'll tuck the toes here and then lift the knees, let them hover off the mat. We're only going to be here for a little bit, so really press away from the mat, super strong. Hips go back towards the heels and then roll the butt up to the sky, find downward facing dog. Okay, and then in your downward facing dog, pedal it out, bending one knee at a time. Really press into the hands. Let the chest sink down in between the shoulders. Beautiful. So downward facing dog as well is a forward fold. So we're not standing up straight. And if you're doing it right, you will feel this stretch in the hamstrings. So a lot of the time, and I think I've mentioned this before, I see really rounded spines in the downward facing dog pose, just so they can get really straight legs. This is not how this is super meant to look. It's much better to bend the knees and then find length through the spine. So try to do this now. Bend your knees as much as you like to roll the butt bones up to the sky. And you will feel this more in the hamstrings than if the legs are straight. What? I know, magical. All right, enough of that. Start to walk the feet all the way up to the very top of the mat. Plant the feet about hip distance apart. Bend your knees a lot. Grab a hold of your opposite elbows. Let the head and neck hang down. Oh, my face has disappeared in my jumper. And then you can sway from side to side. Beautiful. Come back to center, release the hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. So bring the hands really far up the legs, up to the thighs. And then roll the shoulders back, draw the elbows back. And here, try to straighten through the legs. Notice how this feels. Again, we're in a forward fold. This is a forward bend. All right, take a big breath in here. And then exhale, bend the knees, release the head, release the hands. Press into both hands and step the right leg way, way back. Come down on to that right knee. Beautiful. All right, from here, roll the shoulders back and lift up through the chest. So if here in our low lunge, front knee directly over the front ankle. Beautiful. Start to feel the hips sink down towards the mat as the chest lifts up. So this might start to be a stretch in a different part of the leg, maybe the front, the hip flexor. Take a big breath in here. And then as you exhale, send the hips back, point the toes up towards the sky. Find runner's lunge. Okay, so if this is really, really intense and your leg is screaming at you, feel free to bend the knee as much as you need to. So that's totally fine. And if it's still really crazy, there's no way you're going to touch the mat, you can come up, bring the hands to the waist. It's actually a little trickier to balance like this, but just find whatever's going to work for you today. And if you do feel a great desire to straighten through that leg, make sure that you found this length in the spine first. Beautiful. Another thing to check is that the right hip is directly over the right knee. So sometimes we tend to go like way back here, which means that our leg sometimes has a little extra juice, but it's not so much doing the fun stretch that we want to feel. All right. Enough of that. Press into the heel. Inhale, roll forward. Crack. There goes my knee. Lift the chest. Nice. And then press into the hands. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. And we'll step back into downward facing dog just for a breath. And step the right foot forward. Beautiful. Come down on that left knee this time. Make sure that your front knee of the right leg is directly over the front ankle. I said that in the most roundabout way. You know what I'm talking about. And then roll the shoulders back. Inhale, lift the chest. Great. If your fingertips don't even come near the earth, this is totally fine. I've been there before. I have really tiny T-Rex arms, so it took a lot of practice to even scrape my fingernails on the mat. All right. And again, really feel that you're stretching through maybe the front of the left quad muscle this time, but then really engage your front leg. So we're not dumping all our weight of our torso over the leg. We're really lifting up. So the leg has to do some work here. Nice. Big breath in. And exhale, press into the fingertips, send the hips back, right toes go up to the sky this time. Runner's lunge. There goes that crack knee again. All right. So we're either really, really bent through that front knee so that we can lift the chest and find length through the spine, or we're lifted up even higher if our legs are on fire, or if you've got props or something at home that you can use, this is also really great. If that leg is really starting to straighten out, just again, make sure that you're finding length through the spine still. Left hip straight on top of the left knee. Beautiful. Big breath in. And then press into the front heel to come forward. Nice. Press into the hands, and this time we'll step straight back to all fours. Sit back on our heels. Send the butt to one side and the legs out long. All right. Give the legs a little bit of a shake, a bit of a shimmy, whatever they need. And then we're going to go for it. So let's really set up. I have to move my ass meat out of the way. So if you've got some bootylicious booty that you need to shift over to the sides so that you can really feel that you're sitting on your sit bones and you feel them press into the mat, go ahead. Okay. Already, some of you are probably like, oh my God, this sucks. My legs are on fire. This, for my students, all my students know this is my most hated pose ever, Dandasana. So if your legs are on fire, you're leaning back here, having a little breathing moment as you try to lift up through the chest, and as much as you can, try to flex your toes back towards the face. So we still don't want to just chill out like we're on the beach. We want to find a bit of yogi, a bit of length, a bit of lift in our version of Dandasana. But the full version of Dandasana or staff pose is our body at a 90-degree angle. So that means pretend like there's a stick going all the way up your, I was going to say up your butt, and then I just did. So anyway, stick up the spine so your spine is super, super straight. Roll the shoulders back and lift the heart up. At the same time, we want to ground down through our legs. So the tops of the thighs press down, down, down into the mat. Flex the toes strongly towards your face. Either the palms of the hands come to the mat, the fingertips are on the mat, or the hands are nowhere near the mat is also very relevant for a lot of people. And now you all understand why this is my most hated yoga pose of all time, right? Sucks. Okay. When you're ready, inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, and then draw the belly button in. As you exhale, lean forward, start to bend through the knees. Oh, my mat's coming up to say hello. And then grab for your feet. Let's move that back away. Okay, so we've got really, really bent knees. We are holding our feet, so look at that. Look how flexible we are. And our belly is touching our thighs. Our spine stays really long here. If this is enough for you, this is where you're going to stay, and this is your version of a forward fold. If you've got a little more in you, you can start to slide the feet out, but don't lose the connection of the belly and the thighs. So find your perfect little spot today.
I'll show you what I don't want to see. And here's a bit of my Australian coming out. In the footy, I watch a lot of these big, brawny football players doing this. Oh, I can really touch my toes. But they have this super loop through the spine. So this is doing nothing for the hamstrings. And if you try it, you'll feel that you actually can't feel a stretch in the hamstrings. What is stretching is our lower back, and we really don't want to aggravate these muscles. So it's much more beneficial to have bent knees and a long spine. So lift up through the chest, roll the shoulder bellies back, and separate the collarbones, and you'll feel the stretch is in the hamstrings. If the stretch is still targeting your lower back area, bend your knees even more. Okay, enough talking. Once you've found your limit, bellies and the thighs are connected by really feeling this in the legs. Inhale, lift up one more time, find length, 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 and then exhale to release the head and neck down. All right, we'll stay here for 3 breaths in Paschimottanasana, or seated forward fold. And then when you're ready to come up, gently release the feet and walk the fingertips back up to the body. I forgot what it's called. Slide the butt forward and then hug the knees in as you come all the way down to the mat. Should feel nice. Wrap the hands around the legs again and give yourself a bit more lower back love, either rocking from side to side or making circles with the knees. Great. And then when you're done, release both legs out super long. We're going to end in Shavasana today. So heels are as wide as the yoga mat. Let the feet really flop out to the sides. If you've got any pain in the lower back, a little bit of pinching, you can bend the knees and just knock them in towards each other. But you shouldn't, because you are bending the knees, right? Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you and close down the eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your whole body into the mat. Bring the hands together. Bring the thumbs in between the eyebrows. As you breathe in, think of something you feel really grateful for today. And exhale to let it go. Thanks again, guys, for practicing with me today, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.